What mistakes would you rewrite if you were allowed to be reborn back to your past with extraordinary abilities? In China, in the Hainan province, Wuzhou City, the Wuzhou Best High School is having its first semester exam, and during an exam, Chen Mo suddenly wakes up from his sleep. His eyes shine bright as he screams, "Little junior sister." He realizes he is in a different environment and wonders what had happened. He was just with his little junior sister some moments earlier, heading for the eye of the universe, the forbidden land of the immortals. He wonders why he is suddenly in a classroom. He recalls that his junior sister sacrificed herself to protect him and died. One of the students, Dao Gang, pokes him with a pen, and everyone makes fun of him, thinking he was daydreaming during the exam. And Qiyu, the school goddess, is embarrassed that her parents want her to be with this guy who doesn't even take his studies seriously. She wishes she could be with Zheng Yuanhao instead. The invigilator yells at him not to cause further unrest and have his seat. Chen Mo immediately recognizes him as his third-year high school teacher and realizes he has returned to his high school years. He tries to sense his spirit energy and soul power, but perceives nothing. He was arrogant and stubborn in his past life and got beat up by the Wan family. He tried committing suicide, but was saved by Huangshan Immortal, and then stepped into the world of cultivation. He traveled the universe and also met his little junior sister. Thinking about this, he becomes determined not to leave any regrets in this life and reasons that his sister, too, might have been sent to Earth. He then makes it his mission to get stronger, regain his cultivation, and find his little junior sister. The invigilator sees him still standing, and he yells at him to go out if he doesn't want to take the exam. Chen Mo gladly goes out because he reasons that exams are a waste of time, and he must quickly restore his cultivation. There are 8 realms of cultivating immortals: Chi Refining, Golden Core, Original Infant, Body Fusing, Mahayana, Crossing Calamity, and Immortal Venerable. Chen Mo was a body fusing expert, and now he must quickly get into the Chi Refining realm. He soon begins to cultivate and chooses to learn the Mighty Heaven Soaring Dragon technique first, which is very useful for creating a good base. After about half an hour, Qi successfully circulates in his body, and Qiyu and Zheng Yuanhao appear before him, and then Qiyu asks him what he is doing there. Yuanhao also tries to make fun of him, but he ignores them and focuses on Zhang Yao, who used to be kind to him and was always with him in his past life. He asks about her exams and promises to give her a gift if she makes it to the top 10 in the class. He soon leaves, totally ignoring Qiyu. As he walks, he remembers that Zhang Yao's family will meet hardships soon, but now that he is back, he makes it his mission not to let that happen. He suddenly remembers living with his parents and thinks of how to leave there as soon as possible to start staying alone. However, he doesn't have any money, so he decides to sell some talisman by the roadside, but many people just walk past him, thinking he is just a student selling fake stuff. A young lady named Jin Piyan arrives and asks about the effects of the talisman, to which Chen Mo replies that they are for rejuvenating the mind, driving evil spirits away, settling the soul and body, and keeping fit. Jin Piyan becomes interested and asks if it can help people who can't control their bodies, speak random things, and can't recognize their closest family. Chen Mo gives her one that can help, and while she pays, Lai Shengnan interrupts the transaction. She tries to dissuade Jin Piyan from buying it, saying they do not work, but Jin Piyan tells her that she has to cure her gravely sick grandma, and even if the talisman is fake, it is worth the shot. She pays for it, and Chen Mo gives her an additional talisman, telling her to stick it to her grandma's head and say, "Awaken." Chen Mo rents a place with the sales he made, and he quickly begins to cultivate there. Jin Piyan returns home with the talisman and tells her grandpa she met a powerful expert who told her it could cure her grandma. Her grandpa first disagrees, thinking it is ridiculous, but eventually agrees after much plea from his granddaughter. She places the talisman on her comatose grandma's forehead and shouts, "Awaken." For some moments, nothing happens, and her grandpa begins to question her on how she believed some random talisman she got from a stranger would work in the first place. However, suddenly, the talisman begins to glow and soon fades off. Then the grandma wakes up immediately. The doctor checks the grandma and discovers she is now very fine. Jin Piyan's grandpa asks Jin Piyan how she got the talisman, and he becomes shocked when he finds out she got it from a high schooler. He immediately tells her to research his background and arrange a meeting with him. In the next scene, Chen Mo in his apartment receives a call from his mom, as he had been expecting, telling him to come to the airport immediately. He is excited to hear his mother's voice again after 600 years and leaves immediately for the airport. Lai Sufang, Chen Mo's mom, was born into the Lai family, one of the top 6 great families in Nanjing City, but the family expelled her because she chose to marry a normal civilian. Due to this, Chen Mo is considered an outsider in the family and was always trampled upon in his past life. However, he is determined not to let that happen now that he is back. Chen Mo meets his mom and heads to Yanjing for his grandmother's funeral. They are disdained and not welcomed at the Lai family's residence as they criticize them for coming. Lai Sufang argues her way in to pay tributes to her dead mother, but as Chen Mo tries to go in with her, he is stopped. He kowtows to his grandmother at the entrance and stays outside. Later at night, Lai Yu prepares a place for Chen Mo's mother to stay while he says somewhere else has been prepared for Chen Mo. Although Chen Mo knows they are planning evil against him from the knowledge of his previous life, he still chooses to go with him, telling his mom not to worry. He is disrespectfully shown a warehouse to stay for the night. After a while, Lai Yu gives some men the keys to the warehouse to go and attack Chen Mo, but tells them not to kill him. They attempt to attack him, but Chen Mo beats them up easily, and Lai Yu is surprised that Chen Mo has some skills. He unleashes his strength, and on noticing some qi, Chen Mo is surprised and wonders if cultivators are now on Earth. Lai Yu launches a full attack, but Chen Mo just grabs his fist, slams him on the ground, and cripples his dantian, a part of the body that stores qi. Shortly after, Lai Yu's parents take him to the patriarch in tears, complaining that Lai Sufang's son has crippled their son Dantian. He gets angry and orders Lai Wu to go and get Lai Sufang and her son, but before Lai Wu makes any move, Chen Mo appears to own up to his actions. Everyone gets offended by his arrogance and begins to criticize him. The patriarch commands him to kneel but refuses, saying he didn't do anything wrong. Lai Yu's father begs this patriarch to pass his judgment as Chen Mo has shown to be disrespectful. And while the patriarch is about his judgment based on the family rules, Lai Sufang arrives and tries to explain that Chen Mo isn't like that and there must be a misunderstanding. She asks his son what happened, and while Chen Mo first refuses to explain since they won't listen to him anyway, his mother urges him to talk nevertheless. Chen Mo sees one of the guys that attacked him, Lai Yu's accomplice, and threatens him to confess all that happened. Lai Yu's accomplice then narrates all that happened, and everyone is shocked. However, Lai Yu's parents still defend their son and lash out at Lai Sufang. Lai Sufang gets mad and asks the patriarch what he would have done if Chen Mo was in the same condition as Lai Yu. Everyone becomes startled, wondering how the patriarch would defend himself. However, he says he wouldn't have done anything or used the family rule as Chen Mo doesn't belong to the Lai family. Lai Sufang startles him again by asking how he would resolve the situation since he cannot judge an outsider with the family rule. He replies that they will capture Chen Mo and wait until Lai Yu is awake to decide what will be done to him. Lai Sufang objects, and the patriarch immediately attempts to hit her for defying his orders, but Chen Mo grabs his hand, shocking everyone. He observes 2 transcendence cultivators behind the patriarch with an overwhelming presence and reasons that the Lai family is not as easy as he thought. However, he warns the patriarch not to dare touch his mother, or he will let the Lai family have a new head. Lai Wu and the patriarch are shocked to realize Chen Mo is an inner-realm martial artist. The patriarch reasons that Chen Mo could just kill him if he wanted as sure at close range, and no one would be able to save him. Lai Sufang tells him to let go immediately, saying he shouldn't disrespect his grandfather. Lai Zi, Lai Yu's older brother, rebukes Chen Mo, but Chen Mo laughs and tells him he is not from the Lai family. Lai Zi threatens to annihilate his mother's Manhwa group and the whole of the Chen family in 5 years if he doesn't kneel and apologize. Chen Mo replies with a threat, also saying he will make the Lai family all under his feet, begging for forgiveness in 3 years. The patriarch then declares that the Lai family and the Manhwa group with the Chen family will be great enemies. Lai Sufang becomes shocked, but Chen Mo tells her they should leave. He comforts his mom and heads back to his city. He goes to a street, hoping to buy a few jades to prepare qi formation, but after checking around, he doesn't find a stone with the energy of heaven and earth. However, while he walks on with the pity of not seeing what he wants, he suddenly sees an old seller selling what he has been looking for. He walks up to the man and prices some other items before asking about the rock he came for, pretending not to know its value. However, the old man sees through his actions. He tells him he found the rock on a mountain and can give it to him if he wants, but he must tell him the uses of the rock. Chen Mo replies that he will tell him the uses, but he has to tell him where he found it. The old man gives him the rock and takes him to his apartment to talk. Chen Mo observes the rock in his hand and reasons that it is already enough for a whole formation, and even the leftover can be used when he breaks into the second layer of qi refining and also to create a few protective tools. Chen Mo tells him that the rock is filled with the energy of heaven and earth, and it's a miraculous use for cultivators. The old man is shocked to discover that Chen Mo is a martial artist. He had never seen one before and always thought they never existed. He reveals where he found the stone and tells Chen Mo that there are many similar stones in the same location, but rumors have it that there are monsters there, which prevents him from getting more. Chen Mo asks him if he saw the monsters himself, and the old man replies that he didn't, but he always felt a cold energy blowing towards him anytime he went there. Chen Mo reasons that the place might have something that he needs. He then asks the old man if he wants to become a martial artist. The man gets shocked and quickly accepts to be trained, bowing in respect to Chen Mo. Chen Mo tells him he isn't qualified enough to be his disciple and will be regarded as his helper for now. He tells him that he will return to teach him a practice technique in a few days and leaves. On returning home, he immediately forms the qi gathering array using the stones and starts cultivating. After a short while, he breaks through the qi refining realm, and he reasons that he might be able to break through the second realm of the qi refining realm in just 10 days if he continues at this speed. However, he reminds himself that he mustn't rush anything but rather focus on building a good base. The next day, while he thinks about the events that will be happening the following day, he receives a call from Zhang Yao, who invites him to come and try things out for free in her parents' newly opened restaurant. He heads to the restaurant, and on entering, he meets Zhang Yao's mom, who tells him that her daughter has been talking about him all day. Feeling quite embarrassed, Zhang Yao pushes her mother away, while Chen Mo remembers that he wanted to give Zhang Yao's mom a gift after greeting her. He reasons that Zhang Yao won't take it if he gives it to her, so he decides to leave it where they can find it later. Zhang Yao comes back to him and takes him to where their other classmates who have been invited are. Some of the classmates get angry when they see him with Zhang Yao. Shortly after, in a bid to mock Chen Mo, one of the classmates reveals what he brought as a gift to honor the opening of the Yadio restaurant and asks Chen Mo what he prepared too. Zhang Yao stops the bluff to avoid Chen Mo getting embarrassed. However, Zhou Hao continues his spiteful acts, causing Zhang Yao to burst out in anger and tell him to leave. Chen Mo is angered because Zhao Hao caused trouble for Zhang Yao, so he secretly casts some spell formations with his finger. Then Zhang Yao's mum appears with a red packet, asking who brought it. Zhang Yao finds a huge sum of money, and they all wonder who gave it. Zhang Yao asks Chen Mo if he is the one, causing Chen Mo to stop the spell he is casting with his hands to respond to her. They are shocked to discover that Chen Mo brought such a huge gift. However, Zhang Yao's mom refuses to take it and only takes one bill while returning the remaining to him. This embarrasses Zhao Hao, so he goes to the restroom to call for people to come and cause some problems. Chen Mo, though already aware of what he went to do, he just keeps on eating, pretending not to know. Soon, some men appear and demand to see the boss. Zhang Yao tells them to find another shop as the restaurant hasn't officially started accepting customers. They try to harass her. Then Zhang Yao's mom appears and confronts them. She asks what business they have there, and one of the guys tells her that their boss controls the street. The boss tells them they must follow his rules if they want to start a business on his street. He then demands that they pay him 100,000 per year if they don't want problems. Zhang Yao's mom replies in shock that they opened the restaurant with the law's permission. The boss insists that they pay, and while Zhang Yao's mom tries to insult him, Zhang Yao's father stops her and tries negotiating with the boss. However, he refuses to negotiate and insists on his demands. Zhang Yao's mom lashes out angrily, and the boss tells his men to call the others in. Zhang Yao's classmates quickly make excuses to leave, but Zhao Hao reproves them and tells Zhang Yao he knows the boss and would talk with him on her family's behalf. He ridicules Chen Mo in the process, insinuating that he is a coward who would try to hide instead of helping. Chen Mo gets angry, and everyone is stunned by his strong presence. The other men arrive and prepare to start destroying things, but Zhao Hao quickly intercepts to talk with the boss and begs him not to embarrass him. The boss recognizes him, but he hits him anyway, causing Zhao Hao to yell angrily. He mistakenly reveals that he was the one who called the gang and planned with them to leave as soon as he showed up to play the hero. The boss tells him he doesn't want to leave anymore and asks what he would do then. Zhao Hao apologizes and leaves in disgrace. The gang begins to destroy things in the restaurant, And while Jiang Yo becomes sad and tries to dash at them, Chen Mo holds her back and assures her he will make them pay back tenfold. Jiang Yo helped him in his past life during his hardest times. This time, he is determined to protect her. He tells him it's time to stop, and the boss turns to challenge him. Chen Mo tells him he is a person he doesn't want to dare offend. The boss and his gang mock him for his words. However, Chen Mo further tells them that they must pay 10 times for the things they destroyed, but he can forgive them if they apologize to Jiang Yo's parents. Jiang Yo's parents become scared for Chen Mo's life, and they agree between themselves to do what the gang wants. Meanwhile, Zhao Hao watches from amidst the crowd and is glad Chen Mo will soon be dealt with. The boss orders his men to attack him, but Chen Mo beats them up quickly. This surprises everyone, and the boss threatens to bring out a gun to shoot him. Chen Mo reasons that he can't block bullets, yet though he has broken through the qi refining realm. So before the boss could bring out the gun, Chen Mo quickly hits him to the ground and follows it up with some other series of hits. The boss falls to the ground and begins to apologize. Chen Mo demands that he pays 10 times and apologizes to Jiang Yo's parents. He quickly apologizes as he kowtow, promising never to cause them trouble again and will do his best to protect the restaurant. Jiang Yo's mum pardons him and his men, telling them not to worry about paying 10 times as long as they keep their promise. Chen Mo excuses himself and heads to Jin Zhang's, Jin Piyun's grandpa, house to have a meeting with him. Jin Zhang acts respectfully toward Chen Mo, but replies brashly, telling him to say the reason why he called for him. Jin Piyun finds this disrespectful. Jin Zhang thanks him for curing his wife's illness, and then asks if he can cure his own illness also. In response, Chen Mo tells him to come at him with full force. Jin Zhang is shocked but does it anyway. Chen Mo realizes that he is an inner realm martial artist and diagnoses his condition. He tells him his illness can be cured with a specific pill. Jin Zhang becomes excited as the illness has always caused him massive pain, and many doctors couldn't find a cure. He then promises to give Chen Mo half of the Jin family's wealth if he can cure him. Jin Piyun tries to caution her grandpa not to believe his lies, asking how he expects Chen Mo to cure him when he just glanced at him. Chen Mo says that Jin Zhang's condition isn't an illness, but is caused by an incomplete cultivation technique that hurt his body. He further explains the cause of the condition, and Jin Zhang confirms all. However, he tells Jin Zhang that he must forget about cultivating if he wants the condition to be cured, or else it will cause more problems. Jin Zhang is shocked and sad but has no choice as he can no longer bear the torment caused by the illness. He tells Chen Mo how the incomplete martial technique has been instrumental in establishing the Jin family, and he should be content now. He agrees to forfeit his martial arts. Then, Chen Mo tells him he doesn't have to worry about giving him half of the Jin family's wealth, but wants 1 million as the production cost of the spirit nurturing pill. He tells Jin Zhang to send someone to come and get it in a few days. However, Jin Piyun asks him why they are waiting a few days and not curing the sickness immediately. Chen Mo tells them he needs to prepare the necessary medicinal herbs, although his main reason is that he doesn't have any money. He lists double the ingredients he needs to use the excess for personal use. Jin Zhang tells him to give him 2 days to gather the ingredients so he can begin refining. Chen then changes the subject of the conversation and asks Jin Zhang what his degree of understanding of martial arts is. Jin Zhang tells him that he has a limited understanding that cannot be compared to the old martial arts texts. However, he explains that there are 4 different states of martial arts, known as the 4 levels of the martial arts path. They are the external, internal, transcendent, and legendary divine state. Once martial artists reach the transcendent state, they are highly regarded as the martial arts master. But only a few have reached this state, each of which is very strong and have established large families. However, nobody has reached the divine state in a long while. Jin Zhang adds that he is an internal state advanced level martial artist, yet to meet his match. Chen Mo speculates that he must be at the pinnacle of the internal state, almost at the transcendent state. However, he concludes that this is just purely the categorization of power levels and not a reflection of one's true strength, so he is not afraid of facing a transcendent state master, but meeting someone at the divine state would be dangerous. The next day, the academic transcripts are released, and the Yan family withdraws the marriage engagement with Chen Mo. Chen Mo heads to his classroom, and some of his classmates scorn him while they await their results, asking why he came since he didn't write anything during the exams. A teacher arrives in the class and distributes their results, with Zheng Yuanhou being the first position and Chen Mo being the last in his class and the entire school. His classmates mock him, and then Zheng Xulai, the class monitress, rebukes him saying he is the biggest disgrace in their class and might pull down the class average with his performance. Chen Mo insults her in return, and she reports him to the teacher. The teacher demands an apology, but he refuses and tells her he did nothing wrong. He says he has reasons for forfeiting the exam, but if given another chance, he will do better than Zheng Xulai. While everyone sees this statement as ridiculous, the teacher gives him and the class monitress the chance to prove themselves by giving them Huangguang High School's mock exam to attempt before everyone, of which the loser will give an apology to the other party. The other classmates are shocked, saying it will be impossible for Chen Mo to answer the questions, as the Huangguang High School's mock exam is 10 times more difficult than the national standard. The exam soon begins, and they are given an hour to answer the questions. However, Chen Mo submits just 30 minutes in and prepares to leave. Thinking Chen Mo has failed and is trying to escape, Zheng Xulai yells at him to apologize. However, Chen Mo tells the teacher to look at his script. The teacher quickly checks his answers and is shocked to discover that he got them all correctly. Zheng Xulai becomes embarrassed, and Chen Mo leaves the class. On getting outside, he meets some Yan Fi from the Yan family, who came to formally request on the family's behalf that the engagement withdrawal be cancelled. After he leaves and Qi Yu sees him and runs to meet him. He responds passively, and she wonders why Chen Mo suddenly started to treat him this way. She tells him that her mother has been worried about him as he has not returned home for a few days. He sharply tells her he has rented a house as he doesn't want to intrude on her family anymore, and he leaves. And Qi Yu feels embarrassed and wonders what caused the sudden change. Yan Fi meets the patriarch of the Lai family to tell him that the Yan family is no longer withdrawing from the marriage with Chen Mo, and the initial withdrawal was just a farce to fool the Lai family as they don't want to clash with them. The patriarch tells Lai Zi they cannot allow Chen Mo to grow more powerful and should take advantage of his current weakness to eliminate all his powers. He says they should start with the Manhwa group. The Yu Yang Chen family and Lai Zi gets into action immediately. Meanwhile, Chen Mo receives a call from his mom while he cultivates. She asks him about the house he rented and tells him to return home immediately as she is not sure he is safe since he is alone. He assures his mom of his safety, and his mom tells him to visit Qi Yu's parents, as they have been worried about him since he left home. He heads there immediately and greets Aunt Mai, and Qi Yu's mom, roughly as he doesn't like her, but properly greets Uncle An, who always took good care of him in his previous life. And Qi Yu observes this and wonders why he is like that. They soon sit at the dining table to eat. Aunt Mai asks why he decided to rent a house and rebukes him for not caring about his family. Chu Ting, quite offended, tells her he doesn't want to talk about it, and Qi Yu comments on his manners. Suddenly someone rings the door, and Qi Yu goes to check. She sees that her friends Yang Chanshan and Nurong Yan have come to pick her up to attend a classmate's birthday party. She quickly grabs her jacket and tells her parents she will be leaving first. Her mother, worried about her, asks Chen Mo to accompany her. And while he would have refused, he listens because of Uncle An and steps out with her. Chen Mo already knows the character of Qi Yu's friends toward him based on his knowledge from his past life. Kanchan was hostile towards him, while Murong was very kind and often helped him out. Soon, Tanshan and her boyfriend, Zhang Shan, begin to talk down on him, but Chen Mo would not allow this and insults Kanchan in return. Zhang Shan demands an apology from him for insulting his girlfriend, and instead of apologizing, he tells him he will consider forgiving him too if he can kowtow and apologize to him. Zhang Shan gets annoyed and almost turns it into a fight, but Qi Yu stops them and urges Chen Mo to apologize as he is obviously weaker than Zhang Shan, considering their physique, or so she thought. Chen Mo pauses and glances at Murong, who becomes surprised to see him looking at her as though he has known her for years. Since Chen Mo will not apologize, Zhang Shan says he will not lift him in his car, telling him to enter one of the other cars instead. The other guys also refuse to lift him in their cars, but he finally gets to sit in Yang's car, and they begin the journey. Yang drives recklessly as he speeds along the highway. Soon, he sees a car in his way and tries to overtake it, but he bumps into it. He quickly comes down from the car and soon starts to berate the other driver for damaging his car. The other driver reports him to his master sitting in the car, and the master tells him to leave the matter and continue driving as he is in a hurry to meet someone. However, Yang will not let him leave, and his other friends soon join him in preventing the car from leaving. The master of the car gets angry that some youths disrespectfully try to ride on him. He exits the car, and Zhang Shan immediately recognizes him as Chu Wenxiang. Chu Wenxiang asks him who his father is, and Zhang Shan tells him. Knowing who this is, Chu Wenxiang pardons only him and tells him to leave while the others remain. Zhang Tian begins to beg on behalf of his friends, but Chu Wenxiang wouldn't listen and tells his driver to call some other men to deal with them. He then demands that Kanchan and Murong escort him and have some wine and relax, and he will let them go. Soon, his other men arrive, and while they attempt to start harassing them, Chen Mo comes down from the car and intercepts them. Chu Wenxiang asks him who he is, and he replies with his usual phrase, saying he is the one they can't afford to mess with. His friends become shocked at his attitude, and Chu Wenxiang, already annoyed, tells his men to get him. However, Chen Mo beats all of them quickly, leaving the driver, who did not join in the attack. The driver then attacks, and while Chu Wenxiang thinks that his subordinate has gotten more powerful and will destroy Chen Mo, he gets defeated without Chen Mo lifting a finger. Chen Mo's friends are shocked and wonder how he is so skilled at fighting. Zhang Shan reasons that he was stupid for going against Chen Mo earlier, but Qiyu continues not to admire him and prefers Zheng Yuanhao instead because of his money and resources, whereas Murong admires him and desires to marry a man like him. Chu Wenxiang's driver tells him that Chen Mo is probably a martial artist, and he gets shocked. He then offers to pay Chen Mo a huge amount if he becomes his bodyguard, but Chen Mo replies him arrogantly, causing Chu Wenxiang to bring out a gun and threaten to shoot him. However, Chen Mo tells him he will allow him to drop his gun and cow down to him for mercy. Chu Wenxiang doesn't budge and asks him where he got his confidence. While Chen Mo analyzes the situation, he receives a call from Jin Peiyun, who tells him that the medicinal herbs have been prepared and asks him when he will come to cure her grandfather. He tells her he is free to come now but can't leave for a while as he is currently stuck in a situation. Jin Peiyun asks if it is something she can help with, and Chen Mo tells her that a man named Chu Wenxiang is pointing a gun at him. She then demands to talk to Chu Wenxiang, and on handing Chu Wenxiang the phone, she begins to lash out at him. Chu Wenxiang soon realizes that Chen Mo is his boss's esteemed guest, and he becomes shocked. He apologizes to Chen Mo, and the others are surprised, wondering what happened. Chen Mo tells his friends to leave without him as he has to head somewhere else. On getting to the Jin family's residence, he is shown the ingredients and asked if he also needs the Dan stove, as rumored in novels, for the refining. He laughs and tells them he only needs his hands for his alchemy. He begins refining the materials and soon produces the spirit-nurturing pills. Then he gives Jin Zhang a pill. Chen Mo reasons that he could only refine these pills successfully because of his experience in alchemy, and because the pill is just the most basic. Without these, he wouldn't have been able to, considering his current realm of only level 1 of qi refining. Jin Zhang cultivates for a while after taking the pill, and suddenly he discovers that he has been cured of his illness with an increase in his martial arts, breaking through to the peak of the inner realm. Chen Mo tells him he also helped him to fill the gaps in his incomplete cultivation technique, so he can continue to practice martial arts in the future. Jin Zhang is shocked and immediately kowtow to him. He also urges his granddaughter to salute him, as this perfected technique can be passed on to subsequent generations, becoming the Jin family's eternal legacy. Chen Mo reasons that Jin Zhang could become a master of the transformation realm within 3 years with this perfected cultivation method. After he leaves, they are both amazed by Chen Mo's ability, and Jin Zhang tells his granddaughter to tell her father to put his men in check and not cause any trouble for Chen Mo in the future. Chen Mo heads back home, and while he thinks about his progress in martial arts, he receives a call from Yan Qingcheng, who tells him she has just arrived in the city and he should come and pick her up. Chen Mo is shocked and wonders how she got his number. He heads to the airport to pick her up, and on meeting her, Yan Qingcheng reasons that her fiancé is a little old-fashioned, but has the aura of someone who has lived for many years, and she wonders if he is really an educated child that they know him as. He takes her to his home at her request and asks why she doesn't want to stay in a hotel. Qingcheng's assistant tells him that it's unsafe for her to stay in a hotel, and that Chen Mo is responsible for protecting her now that she is with him. The assistant goes out to buy some stuff, leaving Chen Mo and Qingcheng alone. Qingcheng thinks about Chen Mo's attitude and concludes that he doesn't qualify to be her boyfriend in any way. Meanwhile, Chen Mo thinks about the jade stones he used for the spirit formation, which are running out of heaven and earth energy, and the need for him to find new stones as soon as possible. However, he reasons that it is hard to find the jade stones that meet the requirement and concludes that he has to ask the old seller about it and teach him some techniques to improve his cultivation. Still thinking, he considers the situation around King Cheng and infers that fate has slightly changed because he was reborn, which makes the future quite unpredictable, unlike what he expected. After a while, as Chenmo meditates, he immediately senses some strange movement around his house and heads outside. On getting outside, he calls out to the assassins hiding, revealing that he is aware of their presence. They commend his alertness, and King Cheng's assistant appears, telling Chenmo to go and protect the miss while she handles them. The assassins attack at once, and King Cheng's assistant soon realizes they are more powerful than her. She tells Chenmo to quickly take the lady and escape as she holds them off. However, Chenmo joins the fight, counterattacking an incoming punch. The assassin falls to the ground with fractured bones. The assassins realize he is in the inner realm and immediately try to escape, but Chenmo wouldn't allow them. He kills all of them and leaves only one to interrogate him on who sent them. However, the assassin swallows poison and kills himself. Chenmo asks King Cheng's assistant, who could be planning to kill the miss, to have hired the assassins, and she tells him that she doesn't know as many people want to kill the miss. They head back inside. The next morning, King Cheng's assistant comes outside and is surprised to find out that the dead bodies have been cleaned up. She wears a sullen face but refuses to tell King Cheng about what happened the previous night. Chenmo returns with breakfast and gives King Cheng the spirit nurturing pill to take. He prepares to go out, but King Cheng's assistant insists that her miss should follow him, and King Cheng wonders why she has to follow him. The assistant gives an excuse that she is not feeling well and won't be able to protect as Chenmo would. Chenmo suspects impending trouble as he is going for business, but takes her along anyway. On seeing Chenmo and King Cheng together, the old man asks if she is his mother, and he is shocked. He reveals she is just his friend, but King Cheng finds this ridiculous as she is supposed to be his fiancée. King Cheng is surprised when she observes the old man's attitude towards him. She finds it awkward to see an old man bowing to a teenager. She excuses herself to take a look around while Chenmo and the old man continue their conversation. Chenmo asks for his name, which he reveals as Chen Songzi. He then gives him a book containing the basic training method he prepared and tells him that if he can enter the first level of the qi in the body within 3 days, he will consider formally accepting him as a disciple. He tells him he must not reveal it to anyone else, or he will scatter his soul. After that, he asks if he still has the jade stones as he has used up his already. Then Chen Songzi tells him he will have to go to the Black Pond on Mount Lingwu, which is very dangerous because of demons. He also suggests that Chenmo can visit the auction event first as he might find what he wants. Chenmo reasons that the demons in the Black Pond are just wild beasts that have absorbed the essence of heaven and earth and have opened up spiritual wisdom. However, his current strength is not enough to kill them. He tells Chen Songji to arrange a schedule for the schedule, and he prepares to leave. Chen Songji tells him he would love to follow him. However, considering the 2 ladies staying with him currently, Chenmo tells him to wait till after the auction event. Later that night, while Chenmo rests on his couch, he senses the presence of another enemy and immediately goes outside while King Cheng's assistant follows him. They meet a man who isn't beaten by the rain though he is under the rain. King Cheng's assistant observes this and realizes that he is at the peak of the inner realm. She immediately pays her respect and comments that with his cultivation level, he will soon enter the transformation realm. She then asks why he is there, and he reveals that he doesn't have many years left to live, so he won't be able to enter the transformation realm. But those who sent him gave him a great offer if she can kill King Cheng. Chenmo asks what the great offer is, and the man tells him they promise to give him a chance to enter the Void Mountain, and if he can return from this mountain, he will become a patriarch. He suddenly dashes at King Cheng's assistant, attempting to kill her in one strike, but Chenmo quickly stops him. Chenmo also activates the Rainless technique and tells the man that he will spare his life if he tells them who sent him. However, the man refuses and unleashes his full strength. Chenmo versus Mr. Stranger, who is about to receive the beating of his life. Let us know if you want the next part in the comments section by commenting Venerable. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.